Don't be afraid of being alone. It's better than being with bad people. Everything in our lives has energy that doesn't always work for us. Letting go shows you that holding on to the past stops you from beginning new things. This video tells you to clean up your life like a house so that new air and light can come in and start a path of freedom and self-discovery. We will learn how to let go of the things that are stopping us and make room for new opportunities. For those who want to find insight, peace, and a new purpose, this is a call that shows how letting go can be an act of renewal. Spending time apart helps us understand the deep truth that being alone is often much more important than staying with people who bring us down. This topic takes us on an inner journey where we can learn more about ourselves and grow as people by briefly separating ourselves from parts of our lives that don't connect with our true selves. Getting some distance from something is important because it gives us a chance to see things from a different point of view, to look at our feelings and thoughts with fresh eyes. This process isn't just a way to separate ourselves, it's also a way to clean up and reflect on our lives, which helps us see how our connections and events really affect us. Giving ourselves this sacred place to breathe, think, and most importantly heal opens the doors to renewal and self-exploration. During this time of choosing to be alone, we're not saying goodbye to past relationships for good. Instead, it's a necessary break that gives us a chance to reconnect with our truest values and goals. In this quiet place, we are pushed to do things that really show what we're interested in and passionate about, whether that means rekindling old hobbies or trying new things that make us see more options. The goal of this strategic distance is not to cut ties for good, but to give us the space we need to heal and grow as time goes on. Distancing ourselves from things or people lets us look at how we felt about them in the past through a new, clearer, more detached lens. This lets us make choices in the future that are better for our growth. Being apart from each other becomes not only a way to clean our lives of bad things, but also a celebration of our ability to start over and change. We promise to be at peace and happy inside, and to take each step forward with purpose, knowledge, and a lighter heart in the future if we welcome this time of self-reflection and self-awareness. There is real power in giving yourself time and room. It leads to freedom and the discovery of your true self. Figuring out the difference between need and desire is like going on a trek to the center of our being. Our needs are as important to us as the air we breathe and the love we share. They support our lives. They are what keeps us going and make sure that not only do we stay alive, but our mental health also grows. On the other hand, desires float on top of our longings like waves on the water, promising quick happiness, but not having the substance to keep us going in our search for lasting happiness. Going deeper into this self-reflection is an adventure that goes beyond the surface. It's a call to dive into the deepest parts of our souls and think about what the things we want are really worth. This brave questioning encourages us to see past the short-term appeal of material things and welcome the real riches that keep us alive. On this trip, we are led by the freedom from attachments that aren't necessary. This freedom goes beyond detachment and leads to a deep appreciation of what we already have. Then, gratitude isn't just a way to say thank you, it's a state of being that goes beyond words, a celebration of how full life is when it's simple and real. This method is similar to Stoic wisdom, which says, "The poor person is not the one who doesn't have enough. The poor person is the one who wants more." This Stoic thought comes from the idea that true wealth is not having lots of things, but being able to desire less and be satisfied with what is necessary for life. Before we move on, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us a lot and costs you nothing. Never miss out on any of our videos about Stoicism and the way you can master your life. In a world where people are always trying to get more, telling the difference between need and want is a radical act of authenticity that brings us back to our most basic selves. Whenever we feel grateful or truly satisfied, it's a sign that we can find meaning and joy in the simple things that are always important. If you want to be absolutely rational, you have to get past your emotions and find a place where logic and objectivity rule. This is the area where every relationship and situation is carefully looked at with the cold light of reason. This is the area where emotions are recognized but can't change the truth of details. To start this journey, we need to be ready to ask deep questions about the bases on which our relationships and lives are built. It's a challenge to be honest with ourselves and think about whether the links we keep are helping us grow or holding us back with old habits, unfounded fears, and deep-seated insecurities. A strictly reasonable approach gives us the power to see through the complicated parts of our lives with more clarity than ever before. By carefully weighing the pros and cons of something, we are forced to face the reasons we often give for why certain people and situations keep coming back into our lives. These reasons, which are usually based on old habits, the fear of being alone, or low self-esteem, are called into question by our fair and logical thinking. This process of close examination not only helps us understand our relationships and situations better, but it also helps us make better, healthier choices that are in line with our core values and the life goals we want to reach. Being strictly reasonable is based on the strict ideas of Stoic philosophers, who taught us how important it is to control how we think and feel and to accept change. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This saying fits perfectly with the idea of taking a logical view because it reminds us that even though we can't control fate's whims, we have complete control over how we choose to understand and react to them. When we accept change, we can deeply understand that mortality is what life is all about. This basic idea shows that change is not only something that can't be avoided, but it's also what life is made of. Once we accept this universal truth, we start a journey of change and renewal. It's like dancing with the endless flow of the world, which takes us on new paths of growth and discovery. Realizing that every moment, every relationship, and every experience is temporary teaches us to value the present more. Being grateful for the people and experiences we can reach at this very moment is a profound act of acknowledging the beauty and fragility of life. This knowledge frees us and makes it easier to let go of forms that seemed impossible to overcome at first. We know that saying goodbye is just as normal as saying hello. When we're open to change, we become excited travelers on the trip of life, with a natural curiosity that drives us to discover new things. We can find new opportunities, challenges and thrills when we see change not as an enemy, but as a friend. For personal renewal, this is a call to let go of things that aren't serving us anymore. This makes room in our inner yard for new experience seeds to be planted and grown. Acceptance from this point of view is not defeat. It is choosing to go with the flow of life, knowing that every ending leads to a new beginning. Seasons change, bringing new kinds of beauty and challenges. In the same way, we are asked to renew ourselves by accepting change as the way to grow and find ourselves. Philosopher Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man." This captures the essence of accepting change and serves as a reminder that change is the only thing that stays the same. Accepting this fact not only helps us separate from things that no longer matter to us, but it also gets us ready to welcome the next parts of our lives with open arms, a willing heart, and a mind full of questions. So accepting change becomes not only something to think about, but also a powerful way to live your life. It is a call to accept change with love and bravery, and to let the fluidity of existence lead us on our never-ending path of discovery and renewal. Let's focus on important needs that take us on a journey of self-reflection and choice, where we are asked to sort through the many wants and attachments that fill our lives. This call helps us understand that never-ending pursuit of fleeting pleasures is not what makes life truly satisfying. What makes life truly worthwhile is cultivating and meeting our deepest and most basic needs: well-being, safety, love, and self-worth. As we go through this process of adjustment, we need to carefully consider where our energy and attention are going. It's a challenge to question the substance of what often takes up all of our time and attention, and it makes us rethink our goals. We can start the process of freedom by focusing on what is truly important. This frees us from the tangles of secondary attachments that, while appealing, don't really help our growth and well-being. This change isn't just a way to practice giving up things. It's also a way to feel the world in a fuller and more real way. By getting rid of small worries that were taking up space in our minds and hearts, we make room for new experiences and relationships that are meaningful to us and align with our core values. This road to essentiality shows itself to be both a way to live a more organized life and the essence of real freedom. It shows us that real and lasting happiness doesn't come from getting more things or having short-lived experiences, but from meeting our deepest wants. Having this much happiness shows how focusing on our most important wants can change our lives and give us more meaning, peace, and contentment. The desire for new experiences is a lively call to adventure, to leave the comforts of the known and dive into the uncharted seas of the new and unknown. As much as this may be comforting, it is also a call to let go of the safety of habits and patterns that, while they may be familiar, can hold us back from growing and reaching our full potential. This theme tells us to be open to uncertainty and new things, knowing that every new experience holds the potential for us to learn more about ourselves and grow as people. This is the understanding that when we leave our comfort zone, we open ourselves up to a huge number of new opportunities, lessons, and changes. When we let ourselves try new things, meet new people, and become interested in new things, we start to build a rich fabric of experiences that broaden our view of the world. Every new place we go and person we meet is like a mirror that shows us parts of ourselves we didn't know before and gives us new ways to look at our lives and the choices we've made in the past. This journey of finding not only helps us let go of old habits and relationships that don't serve us anymore, but it also adds a depth and richness to our lives that can't be found anywhere else. It changes us into stronger, more flexible people who can gracefully and quickly navigate the currents of change. Seeking out new experiences isn't just a way to find something new, it's a deep commitment to our ongoing growth. It's an understanding that when we let the world's vastness and variety into our lives, we not only gain new experiences, but we also get the tools we need to grow, adapt, and do well in a world that is always changing. The daily reflection exercise turns into a call to retreat inside, a journey through the deepest and most private parts of the soul that is only for you. There is a lot of noise and distraction in the world, but this trip offers a moment of reflection, a calm time when silence is not empty but full of meaning. Truths and wisdom are whispered in the deepest parts of our being, where silence talks louder than words. While some people think of silence as just the lack of noise, it can actually be a great place for self-awareness to grow. This peaceful setting is where the seeds of self-understanding are planted and cared for, with thought and self-analysis as water. Every day when we think about ourselves, we are gently asked to wrap a veil of awareness around our lives. Every thought and feeling is like a skilled weaver in the mind. It is carefully picked out and woven together to create a tapestry that shows who we are, our deepest wants and fears. This cloak, which is made from the bright colors of our own lives, not only keeps us warm when we're feeling scared, but it also becomes a sign of our unique journey of growth and discovery. With each new day, this exercise gives us a chance to dive deeper into the calm waters of being and explore the depths and currents of our true selves. It's a chance to shut down the words outside of us that often define or limit us, so the inner voice, which is often quiet, can finally be heard. As we take a deep breath and think about what we're feeling, we show new parts of ourselves, including our strengths and weaknesses. There are no easy or comfortable answers when we think about ourselves. Instead, it's a pledge to the truth of who we are. Taking one step at a time, every day, toward the unknown is a brave thing to do. This effort will pay off in a huge way. Because when we become deeply self-aware, we give ourselves the power to live with more truthfulness, meaning, and peace. Seeing your unhealthy attachments. On the way to self-awareness and mental health, there are many complicated paths. One important step is seeing your unhealthy attachments. This part, which is full of meaning and self-reflection, shows how important it is to carefully consider relationships that, even if they seem good on the outside, hurt our inner selves and make us less peaceful. When we do deep and reflective analysis, we are asked to look into the feelings, instincts, and interactions we have every day. There are two goals for this immersion. The first is to find the hidden sources of pain or negativity, those shadows that sneak into our interactions and feelings. It's important to recognize these unhealthy relationships so that we can both accept their existence and think about how freeing it would be to cut these ties or get rid of them completely. Although self-examination may seem like an easy task, it's not. It requires careful reflection on deeply held beliefs, recurring behavior patterns, and expectations that may have been useful in the past, but are now seen as outdated and limiting. When someone is brave and honest like this, they make room for healing and change. In this way, the definition of healthy limits becomes a guide for the process of personal freedom. Being honest and respectful with each other when we talk about our wants is a powerful tool on this journey. In some situations, carefully staying away from harmful or negative effects may be not only necessary, but also essential for maintaining our inner balance and growing a more peaceful and integrated self. Seeing that we have unhealthy ties goes beyond just analyzing them. It becomes a call for us to think about who we are, the decisions we make, and the people we let shape our path. On this journey, we are asked to rediscover who we are, change our goals, and get back in touch with what we really value. This will help us live a more authentic, fulfilling life without being tied down by unhealthy emotions. Setting limits for wants. In a world where plenty and excess rule the tempo of our lives, setting limits for wants shines like a beacon of knowledge, showing us the way to a more balanced life with meaning. This topic makes us think deeply about what we want and how to tell the difference between real needs, those that are necessary for our happiness and well-being, and temporary wants, those that come from emotions or the outside world's persuasive power. We are told to practice self-control and reflection by setting clear and hard limits around our goals. This way, we can learn to value not only what we already have, but also the beauty and sufficiency in what is simple and doable. So, gratitude is a strong drug that can be used to fight insatiability. It helps us focus on enjoying the present instead of getting lost in the never-ending search for more. Re-evaluating and holding on to desires is not, in and of itself, a denial or deprivation act. Instead, it is a practice in becoming more self-aware and real. By picking what we let into our lives, we can get rid of the things that aren't important and focus on real goals that will not only make our lives better, but also help us grow as people. When our wants are in line with our real needs and values, it leads to personal fulfillment and long-lasting happiness. Thinking about the people we've connected with helps us figure out what kind of impact we want to leave. Focusing on the most important things helps us understand what our core values are. This helps us separate ourselves from the obvious, which leads to a deeper life. Keeping the memory in mind helps us understand how our actions affect others.